Hey there, Lisa here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you'll join me in my love of crafting and DIYs and hit that subscribe button. Today's project is tray garland. It's black, gold, snowflakes, and it's reversible. It is also the final project in my black and gold tiered tray decor from last week. For this project, I used 4 wooden snowflake ornaments. You could get away with 2 if you don't want to make it reversible. Black paint, gold paint, twine, wooden beads, wood glue, scissors, and a paintbrush. I also used a disposable cup, foam block, toothpick, skewers, tape, and a small piece of contact paper, but you could probably get away with not using some of those things. Now for the fun, let's create. The first thing I did was paint some black beads as well as some gold beads. I've seen this done several different ways. Some people have a lot of luck with adding a little bit of water to the paint and mixing them up in a Ziploc bag. I have never had good luck with that. I paint the top a little, the bottom a little, and then I put them on a skewer to finish them. If you get too much paint, they will stick together slightly, but you can usually pull them apart with no damage to the beads. And then I usually give them another coat while they're still on the skewers. The next thing I did was paint the first 2 snowflakes, one black and one gold. If you'll see here, I stuck them on contact paper. I learned this little trick from Karen at the Loft Home Decor. You can find her on Instagram. You should definitely check her out. Next, I am going to attempt a paint pour. However, I did not think this through very well, and it's really hard to do a paint pour on an object such as this because it just goes off the edges. So as you can see here, I give up really quickly, and I just sort of dabbed it out of the cup on it and sort of smoothed it out. There's so much paint that it kind of just worked, so that I could get it covered. I wasn't liking how black it looked, so I added a little bit of gold paint on top and then used a toothpick to swirl it around, and I think it turned out pretty cool. With the leftover paint, I decided to paint a few beads the same way, and so I just swirled them around in the cup, again added a little bit of gold, and then used a toothpick to swirl it around. I love to messy paint, but if you're one who doesn't like to get paint on your hands, if you're going to do it this way, I would recommend some rubber gloves. Next thing I did was glue 2 of the snowflakes back to back. I glued a black to a swirl and then a gold to a swirl. Once I had them together, I went back through with a clean paintbrush and kind of got the wood glue off that leaked out there a little bit. I made a couple tassels by taking jute twine and then I just wrapped it around my fingers. And then when you get to the end, you cut it off. And then what you will do is you will cut another small piece of twine and tie it around one end. This will be the top of your tassel. And then when you get that tied nice and tight, you will take a pair of scissors and cut the end, and that will be your fringe. They're really pretty easy. And then I will go back and trim them up how you desire, as short as you want. Then with a piece of twine, double the length of how long I wanted the garland. I folded it in half and then put it through the end of the tassel, and then you loop it through and then pull it tight so that it is secured there. And then I just did another knot, I don't know, just to make sure. I knew the bead was going to cover it when it fell down there, so I just did another knot to make it super secure. And then what you will do is bead. Lay them out the way you want in whichever pattern and just put them on the twine. You know, I probably should have gotten a needle to get this done, but I didn't have any problems with the beading process with nothing because these have nice large holes in them until I got to the very, very end, and then I had to grab a little bit of Scotch tape, and I'll show you where I do that when we get there. So then once I got to the end and it was time for the snowflake, I put the snowflake through and then tied a knot and got it as tight to the bead as I could. This was a little bit difficult. It took a little bit of work to get it the way you wanted, and then right there was, you could see I was trying to get it through and it just wouldn't go back through the bead. So I took a little piece of Scotch tape just to make the end nice and smooth so that I could slide it through the bead. To avoid all this, you could use a needle. It would make life probably a little bit easier. Then I just strung it through a few and cut it off. There you go. There is your garland. So I love the swirl pattern on these so much, but I also really like the simplicity of just the black and the gold. I went ahead and added them to the tray so that you could see. I was remembering my tray a lot bigger. I may have gotten a little bit carried away. So here you can see I styled it a little bit different, a little bit more simple, and just kind of give you a couple of options of how you can use this. Let me know in the comments, do you like it added to the tray I styled last week, or do you like the more simple look? My next video coming up real soon will be how I made the tiered tray. Thanks so much. Again, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.